Chapter 97 of JoJolion released a few weeks ago, and since I literally just finished catching up to the latest chapter, I thought I'd try my hand at a chapter review video. I also wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone who has subscribed and watched the stand analysis videos so far. I recently hit 100 subscribers, which is crazy. I never expected to hit 100 so quickly, so thank you everyone for all the support, it really does mean a lot. This latest chapter of JoJolion left me feeling multiple different things: sadness, intrigue, shock, and frustration all within one chapter, but I'll work through those feelings as we progress through the chapter review. I also have a couple of theories regarding a handful of characters that I will touch upon a little bit later, but we'll probably make a new video to discuss it in detail. So let's get right into JoJolion Chapter 97. The cover page for this chapter features Higashikata Jobin and his stand's Speed King. I really like this image, and Jobin has the look of pure determination on his face to keep Mitsuba and Tsurugi safe. The text on the page also reads, "Can that heat burn the calamity away?" which left the question in my mind of, does Jobin have the power to take down the head doctor? We begin the chapter with Mitsuba telling Jobin that if he attacks the head doctor in any way, a calamity will begin to affect Jobin. Previously, we've seen that any intent to pursue the head doctor, Akefu Satoru, will result in bad things happening to the pursuer. This takes the form of bad luck, or karma, such as the pursuer seeming to accidentally fall over objects or cutting off their fingers with a knife. This may all look like bad luck, but it's actually a calamity that affects those who pursue the head doctor. The calamities affect pursuers in different ways depending on the objects in their surroundings. Even the thought of pursuing Satoru is enough to activate this calamity stand ability. Mitsuba tries to tell Jobin to not pursue the head doctor to save him from becoming affected by Satoru's stand ability. However, Jobin had already attacked the bedspread where he had seen the head doctor's illusion disappear. Jobin looks underneath the bedspread to find he had actually attacked a can of hairspray. The hairspray can then explodes, throwing shards of the can towards Jobin, which he defended against. Because his attack was an intent to pursue the head doctor's illusion, this exploding hairspray can was the calamity that was to fall upon Jobin. Jobin questions if the head doctor is a stand or not, which has been hinted at in previous chapters. Initially, I did think that perhaps the head doctor himself was an illusion created by the artificial humanoid stand that was shown previously behind Josuke and Mamazuku. However, this chapter convinced me that the head doctor does have a physical body himself, but we'll discuss that later when we get to it. It does seem that Akefu Satoru can produce illusions of himself that follow those who are affected by his stand's calamity ability. As we've previously seen, the head doctors somehow appear in the vicinity of Josuke, Yasuho, Mamazuku, and Mitsuba all around the same sort of time, almost like the Grim Reaper stalking his targets, waiting for the bad luck to hit them so bad that they die. Similar to how when Mina got injured from the Iron School gates and the head doctor was seen in the area on the CCTV footage. I have my theories about how Satoru's stand works, and whether they are illusions or physical bodies haunting those affected. Again though, I'll do another video on those theories. Moving on, Mitsuba explains that Josuke, Yasuho, Mamazuku, and herself have probably all been affected by the calamities since they investigated Wu Tomoki's lab in TG University Hospital, indicating that the stand attack from the head doctor has not been deactivated at all since then. Jobin deducts that the head doctor's stand is a long-range automatic stand, and that the stand attacks will keep happening as long as Jobin has the new Rokakaka. Here we see Jobin actually open up to Mitsuba, thanking her for staying by his side through all of this and supporting him. He says because of her, he is able to exist as he is now. Now, whenever a character opens up in an emotional way like this, it can often be a setup for something bad happening to the character not long after. I think Jobin understood at this point that he was now under the attack of the bad luck stand of Akefu Satoru, and was intending to distance himself from Mitsuba and Tsurugi by removing the new Rokakaka from the Higashikata house, as that fruit is what Satoru is after. Jobin has done nothing but try to protect his family, even if he has done some very bad things to achieve this, even going as far as nearly killing his own father. He will stop at nothing on his quest of harvesting the new Rokakaka to save his son's life. I already really liked Jobin as a character up to this point, but this statement of love and caring he expressed to Mitsuba, and his constant attempts to protect them, was great to develop his character and story even further. Like I said before though, this sort of showcase of humility and love is often the downfall for a lot of characters like this. Characters who have hopes and dreams can often become victims of a villain's wrath in an attempt to create emotional connections even deeper with the character. We'll pick this topic back up in a few pages' time when a certain something happens. Jobin notices Yasuho dying outside the mansion on the cameras, and after a quick cough, he then notices the lower body of another figure in the tree line. This is Tohru, who Yasuho had called for help in a previous chapter. As soon as Jobin notices Tohru in the tree line, he realizes that he has blood on his mouth and on his hand from his cough. This is where the question of who is the main villain of part 8 gets even more complicated. Tohru has seemed pretty suspicious for a little while now, however it's clear the head doctor is being made out to be the main villain. Yet when Jobin notices Tohru, what appears to be a calamity then affects Jobin. Jobin collapses, seeing blood all over his hand, and has trouble breathing. He then realizes he has a piece of the hairspray can lodged deeply into his chest. It appears to be a nozzle from the spray can, and blood starts erupting from the nozzle. A river of blood comes out of Jobin. This left me in shock because there is surely no way he could survive this much blood loss. And to make matters worse, the bad luck effect of Satoru's stand leads Jobin to slip over on his own blood, and just to add a cherry onto the cake, the new Rokakaka plant pot falls on top of Jobin, pushing the nozzle into his chest even further, most likely piercing his heart. Honestly, I have no idea how Jobin could survive this much blood loss. It looks like a massacre happened in the house, and all this happened right after Jobin expressed his love and appreciation to Mitsuba in his own roundabout way. Honestly, I don't believe Jobin can come back from this as he lost way too much blood. The next page shows Jobin calling out for Mitsuba as he collapses and presumably dies. This was incredibly shocking to witness as it felt so sudden. There was no real lead up to this death other than his little speech beforehand. It's also the amount of blood there was too. There was just so much. I believe this to personally be the end of Jobin. The only way he can survive this is if he takes the new Rokakaka fruit and eats it. However, this means he will need to exchange something in his body which is equivalent to the damage that will need to be repaired. Because the new Rokakaka can be used to exchange someone's body parts to fix the person's body, essentially fusing two people together just how Josefumi and Yoshikage fused. I have a theory that if Jobin is to survive this, someone from the Higashikata household will sacrifice their life to revive him. They will essentially do what Josefumi did for Yoshikage and exchange their body parts to save him. It's just a theory, but it feels too soon for Jobin to die, even though we are in the climax. It would be more rewarding to see Jobin fight against Satoru at some point, though for now, I'm resigning myself to the fact that Jobin has most likely died here. The next page shows Tohru watching the Higashikata house from the tree line with a really dead look in his eyes, like he knows exactly what's going on, and he has absolutely zero empathy. However, with what's shown at the end of the chapter, you can probably start to understand why he's doing what he's doing here. Tohru places headphones into his ears and starts listening to The Wonder of You by Elvis Presley. Fun fact actually, The Wonder of You was the name of the 11-part arc which preceded this Endless Calamity arc. The Wonder of You arc is where the theorized stand of Satoru was first shown, which makes me wonder if that stand is actually Tohru's stand, and is named after the Elvis Presley song The Wonder of You. My theory is that Tohru has a stand which causes calamities, and the head doctor also has a stand which produces illusions of himself, which follow people and keep an eye on them. It's clear that Tohru is involved with the head doctor in some way, especially considering what happens at the end of the chapter. Tohru is shown singing and dancing to the song as Yasuho writhes in pain, struggling to survive. This clearly shows Tohru doesn't actually care about Yasuho, when previously he has shown that he wants to get close to her again. However, I believe he only wanted to get close to her again to find the whereabouts of the new Rokakaka. At this point, we head back to the TG University Hospital, where we see the Bike High employee that Josuke had previously hired to deliver a package. This page reminds us that Josuke is now not pursuing Satoru, but he is attempting to make him do the pursuing instead. The Bike High employee delivers the package to a reporter for the Pangaea Land magazine, and then the reporter enters the head doctor's office intending to do a scheduled interview with him regarding the experimental Rokakaka 6251 regenerative medicine. The head doctor is seen just standing creepily in the corner of the room, not responding or showing any signs of life at all. Suddenly, as if a switch had been flipped, the head doctor turns his head with a dramatic, dead look in his eyes. The head doctor points out that the reporter, Tauka, has pimples on his face and nose. Tauka opens the package from Josuke, revealing there is a video of Holly Joestar Kira being used for experiments in the basement room of the hospital. Tauka reveals the video was recorded just 40 minutes ago, and he even had time to copy the video onto another SD card before meeting with the head doctor. He also pulls out a jar with a fragment of the Rokakaka fruit inside. I don't quite understand how Josuke was able to do all this as quick as he did, and also how he knew there would be a Pangaea Land reporter in the head doctor's waiting room. Hopefully the next chapter will explain this. The head doctor panics a bit, but Tauka refuses to let Satoru know where the package came from. Tauka even deducts himself that this fruit is the raw material used to make the Rokakaka 6251 experimental regenerative medicine. Tauka essentially threatens the head doctor due to him performing experiments on Holly to create the regenerative medicine. Satoru then uses this situation to his advantage and questions if Tauka is planning to pursue him, in which Tauka admits he will be chasing Satoru down to the ends of the earth to stop the operation and shut down the hospital. Almost like a trigger, once Satoru realizes that Talca is pursuing him, the head doctor starts questioning if Talca had opened the jar. He somehow recites every action that Talca had performed with the fruit prior to meeting with him, even though Satoru himself did not witness those actions. He somehow knew that Talca had opened the jar, touched the fruit, and got juice from the fruit inside his body somehow. He explains the juice entering Talca's body as fate being particularly unlucky to him. I'm really confused how Satoru knew the exact sequence of events that Talca took with the fruit before entering his office. It's almost like Satoru is rewriting history. Now, hear me out for a second. Let's say Talca did not do these things with the fruit initially. However, once Satoru realizes that Talca is pursuing him, he is then affected by the ability. Satoru then explains a chain of events that he is assuming happened prior to the meeting. He may have rewrote Talca's history within that last few seconds, making this chain of events real, whereas it may not have been real prior. We know the intent to pursue the head doctor seems to trigger the stand ability of calamities happening to the victim. It's possible that once the stand ability has been triggered, illusions of the head doctor appear in the eyes of its targets, and these illusions have the ability to rewrite the person's history in the last few seconds, giving them what seems to be incredible bad luck. Perhaps planting a new chain of events into someone's very recent history is the ability of this stand. Every JoJo main villain prior to this part has been incredibly overpowered compared to the main protagonist, making it harder for the good guys to win. Rewriting someone's history would be an incredibly hard thing to fight against. Satoru leaves the office claiming he knows who sent the package. Talca realizes his pimples have gone, yet his medulla oblongata begins turning to stone due to the equivalent exchange. This results in Talca's death. This was a calamity brought on by Talca's intent to pursue Satoru. It's unknown if Satoru's stand creates bad luck to those who pursue him, or if there is more to it than that. For example, my theory that I mentioned just now. However, with it being Araki, there is likely going to be more to it than just bad luck. Rai Mamazuku is back, and as he's heading towards Josuke's location, he turns and notices the head doctor is actually heading towards Josuke also. Mamazuku is shocked, as up until now, Satoru has always been in front of him, inviting others to pursue him, whereas this time, he is behind Mamazuku, going in the same direction that he is going, which is towards where Josuke is. We see Josuke again waiting for Satoru to appear. It once again states that Josuke has realized that he cannot pursue the head doctor himself, and that he's using the lab and Holly as a reason to get Satoru to pursue him instead. I feel also that it's a little dark and out of character for Josuke 8 to have sent the Pangaea Land reporter to his death, because surely he knew it would end poorly for Talca. Perhaps Josuke is just so determined to take down the head doctor that he's not seeing straight. He has that determination to lure him there no matter what, even if it means sacrificing someone else. We head back to the Higashikata house and see Tohru continuing to sing and dance to his music, when something suddenly clicks. This page alone proves that Tohru is directly involved with the head doctor in some way, as he somehow knows, as if like a psychic ability, that Josuke is not pursuing, but rather he's inviting the head doctor. This makes me wonder if Tohru and Satoru have some form of psychic mental connection to each other, as when Satoru realized Josuke was inviting, Tohru also found out this information accurately from a fair distance away. This page also states that it is 2 hours till the time of the harvest for the new Rokakaka, indicating that the climax of the part is fast approaching. Overall, this chapter made me really think hard about who the main villain actually is, and what their stand ability truly is as well. Is the main villain Satoru, or is it Tohru, or is it both? Their names are also incredibly similar, and we don't know Toru's family name. I have a theory on this that they are both the same person. Similar to how Josefumi and Yoshikage became one person, I feel like Satoru and Tohru were once one person who split into two, one being younger, one being older, and they might need to harvest the new Rokakaka to once again become one and gain their full power back. This is a theory that I'm interested in doing a video on at some point. Overall, this chapter just left me wanting more, and seeing as I'm now fully caught up after reading JoJolion pretty consistently prior, it's now going to be so painful having to wait monthly for new chapters, especially since the story is reaching its climax. I'm so curious to know how the story progresses. If you enjoyed this video, then it'd be great if you could leave a like on it down below and maybe even subscribe to keep up with regular updates and stand analysis videos. If this proves to be a well received video, I'll definitely make these chapter reviews a regular thing every month once a new chapter releases. Thank you for watching, but until next time, Bizarre Star Platinum, out.